3, 2, 1. Hi everybody, and welcome to part 2 of your animated name project, wherein instead of remixing the Google logo, we are going to create your name or logo or internet name. But I'm going to show you some student examples first, then we're going to take a deep dive into the code and check that out. The main thing though is that instead of using the letters that Google is giving us, you're going to go get any letter you want. You can either find it on Google image search, or you could make your own in Cool Text or any one of the text generation websites, and you could make each individual letter and then bring it in yourself. So let's go over that right now. So I'm going to show you my most basic demo project here. So you take a look at my code here. This is the most basic. I have an effect. I went into my events and I brought in when this sprite is clicked, and I have the code here. So 36 times I'm going to turn 10 degrees and I'm going to wait. And that happens when the sprite is clicked. So I'm going to click it and it turns. So it changes color when it turns, and when that sprite is clicked, it turns. So if I just double click, it'll make everything turn around. So it's creating an on-click effect. Now that's super basic. You'll also notice this code here, which is a little something extra. So if we go through and read the code, first I want to point in direction 90. Notice that's going to be blue, so in the motion. And then in a forever loop, I've got this if block, and I went in and I got sensing and I did key is pressed. So we're going to read this code forever. If the space key is pressed, then this motion happens too. So if I press restart and I press spacebar, instead of clicking them individually, all of them will go, because I went through all these different letters I brought in and added that code to everything. You can also start to add some motion. In the next project, I'll show that as an example. So this was another student example. I'm going to jump in here so you can see the code. If you look at the code, right, it goes to a starting location, then it glides to another location. So it starts out far and it glides to the center. For the next one, once you press play, or when you run your app, it's going to wait 1 second, and then it's going to send all the letters to a specific location first thing, right? So it sends them to their starting location. That's what this blue one is. And then it's going to repeat 5 to 20 times, and it's going to glide randomly all over. After that random gliding is done, it's going to take 1 second. It's going to glide to its final endpoint right here. So he moved around and picked all the endpoints here, and then it's going to change its costume. So when that final one hits, it's going to come back here, and it's going to change the costume from the initial PNG that he brought in to the secondary PNG. It's also got this forever color effect, so it's got this kind of rainbow effect. On a final one, this was one I showed last time on Jenny's, it looks pretty cool because she brought in all these GIFs and started animating some of them separately. And if we look in here, we've got this little bit of code, which I think is really cool. So see how they're kind of pulsing just a little bit? They're growing, they're getting smaller and bigger. So if we look at her code for that, right here we have when app is run, we're going to set size to 100%, and then forever in a loop, we're going to repeat 50 times, and we're going to change size by 0.1. So it's only changing size super subtly, right? It's just changing a little bit. I really like that as an example. Okay, so now that we've finished with the student examples, I'm just going to run over what you want to do. So first thing, you could search for the letter S, and you could find any different S. Remember, if you want to set for transparent, that'll make it easier. So when you click, you want to wait till it loads. So you see that PNG background. I'm going to right click, save image as. And if I go to downloads folder, I should do new folder, level 2, project 1, because we want to make sure we're saving everything properly, and you can just do S or letter S. Save. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go up to Pixel. I'm going to open that image up. And so see what the original size is. I'm going to go to image size. I'm going to go to canvas size. I'm going to click in the center, and I'm going to change that to 100. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to do edit free transform. It's going to take that real big letter and it's taking it down small. If you want to be more precise, you can zoom in. So if you look over here, you can zoom in. If I want to take it down, just maybe make it a little thinner. I think that looks good. So basically you're going to make it small. And when you save, I'm just going to do S small, and make sure you save it as a PNG. Once you do that, go into Scratch. The process of bringing it in, first thing when you start a new project, you're going to delete that cat. I'm going to click up here to upload sprite from file, and I can get that S small. And now it'll be in here, and I can start to code with it and move it around. So when run app, I'm going to go to here. And then I'm going to move it somewhere else. I'm going to glide here over 1 second. So I press play. If I wanted it to go real slow, I could do 7 seconds. If I wanted it to go to multiple positions, I think most of you should remember this. So it's going to go to here. Let's move it down here. I'm going to do 1 second. Then move it over here at 1 second. Move it up here in 1 second. And move it back here in 1 second. So when I press play, it's going to go around the edges, some basic motion. Should be pretty easy for you guys. I'm going to toss in this forever loop right here, and now it will go around the screen forever. So by mixing and matching and doing all this, you can create your animated logo, pick your background, and be inspired by some of the work the other students have done, and just do your best.